back for some more tax planning tips. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so below. So in this video, I'm going to walk through a tax planning tip for business owners, which you can apply as a benefit to your employees, and at the same time you get the tax benefit to your company. And it only applies to certain types of businesses. And it's called the Accountable Expense Reimbursement Plan. So after watching the video, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll respond to them. Thanks again for watching.
All right, so here is the Account Expense Reimbursement Plan. So what is it? So it allows companies to reimburse your employees for expenses that these employees incur. The benefit is these reimbursements, they're not included in the employee's compensation. So that's a benefit that you kind of offer to your employees. The benefit to the business, to you as the business owner, is you get to deduct these reimbursements to these employees. And another benefit to the businesses is you don't have to worry about paying payroll taxes. So, and I'll cover this here shortly, and this is a very quick video here. So when there's reimbursements and you don't have an accountable plan, you have to include this as part of payroll. And as a business owner, as you know, you got to pay payroll taxes. There's the employee portion, there's the employer portion. With having an accountable expense reimbursement plan, you don't have to worry about the payroll tax. Eligibility. So it only applies to C Corps and S Corps. So if you're a partnership or a sole proprietorship, this doesn't apply to you, unfortunately. So, thinking back to, should you be a C Corp? Should you be an S Corp? Should you be a partnership? You always want to lay out all the pros and cons. And here's kind of one of the pros of being a C Corp and an S Corp. So other things to kind of consider, and this is kind of like a benefit of having an accountable expense plan, is these are not employee benefit plans, right? So it's not a 401k. And as you know, with 401k plans, there's discrimination rules. But with this accountable expense plan, you don't have to follow any of this because it's not an employee benefit plan. So what you could do is, if the owner incurs these expenses and, the business can kind of reimburse the owner for these expenses, but the owner doesn't have to apply this accountable expense plan to employees. There's no separate tax forms or reports that you have to file as it relates to this accountable expense plan. Now, some important things. So you don't have to have this, but I would highly recommend that you do have one, is a written plan, a written document that you have on file, that kind of lays out what the accountable plan is. And, it could just be like a half of a page or a page, and you kind of just list kind of the rules. And here are some of the rules that need to be stated in the accountable plan. Expenses must be related to the business, right? So you can't be, employees can't be incurring expenses asking for them to be reimbursed, and these expenses have nothing to do with the business. That's number one. Number two, employees need to let their employer know of these expenses within a reasonable time. So I would say within, 30 to 60 days after the employees incur the expenses, that they need to submit these to their employer to get reimbursed. What you don't want have happening is, 9 months go by, 2 years go by, and all of a sudden these employees are coming to you saying, I want to be reimbursed for these expenses. You can't have that happen. It should be within a reasonable time frame. And then excess reimbursements need to be returned to the employer. So just say employee comes to you saying, all right, I incurred about $1,000 of expenses related to this travel. I need to be reimbursed. And you reimburse the employee $1,200. That additional $200 that you gave the employee should give back to you within a reasonable time. These 3 points should be noted in your accountable expense plan. Now, if you want a template of an accountable expense plan, I'm happy to kind of share one with you, and then you can just have one on file for your company records. And then, like I said, if you don't have an accountable expense plan, then any reimbursements to employees have to be included in their wages and they're subject to tax. This is very, very important. So that's why if you don't have an accountable expense reimbursement plan set up, make sure you do so. And then in the description of this video here, I kind of lay out some of the pros and cons, the benefits, but also kind of what you need to have in your accountable expense reimbursement plan. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer it, but this is a great benefit for the company as well as for the employees. But if you ever get audited by the IRS, you got to have this plan in place. So thank you for watching.